This is actually an excerpt. It went for about an hour and 15 minutes, something like that. I will be breaking that down, but this is a short portion that we will be looking at together. Here we go.
And since then, we've been working constantly to shelter survivors, deliver supplies and medical care, and locate the missing and reunite them with their families. Over the past several weeks, FEMA's search and rescue teams and our first responders have completed search and rescue efforts in Lahaina. And as of today, there have been a total of 115 fatalities. Our hearts have broken 115 times.
Oh my gosh, he's still got the Band-Aid on. You got to be kidding me. The yellow Band-Aid, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I've got 2 videos about the Band-Aids. Yes, he wears his wedding ring on the right hand. Some of you thought the image was reversed. I'm trying to figure out what this little lapel pin is here, if that's some New World disorder. Yes, he looks like his heart has been broken 115 times. He really needs a better acting coach. All right, well, at least they've got the interpreter off here to the corner. Many of you said you found it to be a distraction. Some of you who are deaf, like our lovely Shelley, who's been a Healthy American for a long time, said that a lot of that was not even accurate. And then there were some of you that said, oh, people who are deaf also can't read. And I never knew that. I didn't realize that deaf people couldn't read. I thought that was something new to me. I don't even know if that's true, but that's what a couple people said. But anyway, I don't know why they can't do the closed captions, but the fact is it's not as distracting because it's up there. This is distracting that he's got a yellow Band-Aid on his finger. I thought for sure he would stop doing that since I've been exposing this bizarre habit of putting Band-Aids on all different fingers, and he's wearing a yellow one, which matches up with his yellow Band-Aid for the Build Beyond Barriers, Burn Back Better, Build Back Better, United Nations, 15-minute smart cities. That's what he's doing. And it's very bizarre to me. It's not from diabetes, because many of you said diabetics don't put Band-Aids on their fingers. And then some of you said it's almost like a notch in your belt. Like maybe every time he achieved another evil deed, he put like another Band-Aid on as a signal. I don't know, but it's bizarre. I think we need to do a Freedom of Information Act on Josh Green New Deal and his Band-Aids. I don't like it.
The FBI has reported that 66 of our people are potentially still unaccounted for.
Oh, 66. He loves his sixes. I'm going to do a video on all of his sixes. He said 6 3 times when Joe Blow was there on the island, and this guy was like hugging him and kissing his wife, and not kissing Josh Green New Deal's wife. He was kissing Biden's wife, if that's how you want to put it. It was very bizarre, a fawning sycophant. Okay, I know you don't like it when I interrupt. Let me back up just a little bit and we'll let it play.
Over the past several weeks, FEMA's search and rescue teams and our first responders.
Sorry, I can't help myself. Do you hear that sigh? It's like a fake staged sigh or something weird. Let me know what you think about that.
Have completed search and rescue efforts in Lahaina. And as of today, there have been a total of 115 fatalities. Our hearts have broken 115 times. The FBI has reported that 66 of our people are potentially still unaccounted for based on calls and emails they've received. And in many cases, they only have names of these individuals on a list and no other information. This is the number that initially was over 3,000 and then dropped to 300.
More sighing. Yeah. And the initial number of 3,000, that was to traumatize you. Those numbers were designed to traumatize you so that you would not be able to sleep at night thinking of all those who perished. We don't even know if those 66 are actual individuals that had anything to do with this. That could be somebody who hasn't seen their high school friend that they thought lived on Maui, and they called the FBI to say, hey, did you find Joe Blow? And they put Joe Blow on the list. So it's not even a verifiable list, friends. We need to dig deeper. So much of this is done to traumatize compassionate, tender-hearted people like yourself.
85 last week, and now, I repeat, is at 66. The Maui Police Department continues to make daily progress on missing persons reports and encourages families to share information about any missing loved ones. Since August 16th, the American Red Cross, the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency, and FEMA have relocated over 7,500 displaced survivors from shelters to a total of 29 hotels and hundreds of Airbnbs. 15,931 individuals have filed for FEMA relief.
Now that's interesting to me because I thought the population, I could be wrong. I'll need to double check. I thought the population in Lahaina was 12,000. I must be wrong, obviously. Can somebody verify that for me?
The accommodations I have described will continue to provide meals, casework services, financial recovery resources, and other disaster relief assistance until we're able to move to the next phase of our recovery. However, hotels can't be our long-term solution to housing in West Maui.
Here we go. Let's build back better. I'm watching this for the first time, but this is how I listen to everything they say. So they set up the problem, right? They created the disaster so that they could bring in their solution that this guy already had planned. When he was running for governor, he said, I'm going to issue an emergency declaration about housing. I want to fast track it. I don't like what the legislature is doing. So he has appointed himself a dictator. And he's not even Hawaiian. Seriously, you're telling me that Hawaiians elected this guy? I don't buy it. Let's hear what he has in store now, how he's going to fix things.
We've entered into an agreement with the Red Cross to house our people for a minimum of 36 weeks.
36. What a coinkydink. 3 6s. Not 35 weeks, not 4 months, but let's just say 36 weeks, shall we?
We're also pursuing relationships with large numbers of homeowners who have historically used their properties for short-term rentals to convert them into longer-term rentals to accommodate displaced residents.
So now the government is going to be paying the VRBO and the Airbnb people because that is their end game. The government is going to be in control of all housing, not just on Maui, not just in Hawaii. Let me know if you are a property owner, if you own apartment buildings, commercial real estate. They are trying to edge out private ownership of property.
Residents then can actually enter into much longer agreements to receive housing through FEMA. FEMA will continue to assist us with direct leases and rental assistance grants to ensure that people can stay housed for 18 months well into 2025.
Yes, until he gets his build back better, burn back better plans. I will leave a link for you to this replay so you can listen to it without my interruptions. But let's just continue here.
And these costs will be covered by federal assistance, state resources, and humanitarian aid. For those who would like to provide housing and be a part of this solution, I've worked with the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation, HHFDC, to launch what's called the Hawaii Fire Relief Housing Program, which identifies available units to those devastated by the Maui wildfire tragedy. If you'd like to get involved in this program to help our survivors, you can reach HHFDC through this email, hhfdcfirereliefhousing@hawaii.gov. We also intend to contract with 3 to 5 hotels locally to be able to lease their entire properties long-term for the recovery effort, which will serve as an additional housing safety net for us.
I don't know. Is it just me, or do you see that he is happy about the government being able to be this intermingled in the housing, that they can buy out entire hotels? All right. This is just, I'm glad that the people are going to get the help that they need. Don't get me wrong. My heart does break for those that are victims of this intentionally inflicted disaster. But it also serves their agenda of pushing forward the universal basic income, the government paid housing. And of course, all of that is going to be the people that are going to foot the bill are you and me, because that's FEMA. That is federal money and the money that they print out of thin air.
Finally, a smaller number of transitional temporary housing units in the form of kauhale communities will be built on Maui. Okay,
a kauhale community these are like little tiny homes that do not have a bathroom or a kitchen. Well, I'm not going to call them like prison shacks. I wouldn't do that. But, they're like little prison shacks. And the reason I say that is because you use a shared bathroom and a shared kitchen, so you don't really have that much privacy. And they are built in what Josh Green Do Deal calls the traditional style of like a communal living. I can do a separate video on that if you want, but that's what that means. Since I did a little frame grab right here, I will mention a couple of comments that you guys have given me about his teeth. Now, I'm not going to go on any kind of a personal attack on someone's appearance, although I did say that he was schlumpy and dumpy when he was rescuing people from the accidents that he just happened upon, especially because he's always talking about being an MD. Wow, he does not look healthy at all. And some of you were curious about his teeth, and I'll just leave it at that.
To aid those not housed in long-term rentals or hotels. But housing alone won't be enough to get our people through this incredibly difficult time. Generosity from around the world has poured into Hawaii, to the American Red Cross.
Oh, has poured into their pockets. The American Red Cross. Yes, they need all that money to hand out water and hot meals.
The Hawaii Community Foundation, and the Maui United Way. The tens of millions of dollars donated to these and other worthy organizations are providing life-sustaining support to supplement state and federal need. I've authorized $100 million from a special revenue source called Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, or TANF, to support what others donate, magnifying the power of everyone's generosity. Because Lahaina businesses have also been destroyed and many others across Maui County are struggling to survive.
Okay, I did a video on that yesterday about why do they do it? And that was one of the reasons, to destroy the businesses. So now there's going to be all sorts of commingling of the government, again, like they did with cooties, giving all of that money to these businesses so that they would shut down and refuse service to people that were breathing oxygen and that wouldn't become a human pincushion. Enough with the government already.
I've also authorized immediate relief to help prevent business bankruptcies. Working with House and Senate leaders and in partnership with Maui County, the mayor, Hawaii Community Foundation, we'll make $25 million available immediately in the form of $10,000 and $20,000 bridge grants to help businesses all across Maui survive until the economy can recover.
All across Maui. So somebody that has a business in an entirely different place is going to get this money. Now, I'm not going to call it hush money or blood money, but I will just call it hush money and blood money.
The Maui Economic Opportunity Team will help us distribute these grants. Now we turn to Lahaina Town and our road to recovery and healing.
Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot stand that phrase, road to recovery. Remember back in Cooties, all of the governors in every state had a road map to recovery. Was it just California, right? Which was the most shut down state out of the 50, although Hawaii and Alaska and New York were all vying for first place. That is such new world disorder language. And I promise you, he's going to start talking about resiliency and sustainability, even though I haven't even heard this broadcast yet. He will find some way to work that in. If not now, then later. Yeah, the road to recovery is just despicable. That didn't need to happen except for their inflicted damage. Ew, that little smug smirk, I can't stand it.
Many displaced survivors have asked when they can return to their homes and properties and businesses to survey the damage. In the coming weeks, we'll begin to schedule supervised visits for displaced people to return and view their property under safe conditions. I need to share this with you. The ash, we are told, is quite toxic, so we need to be careful. Once the EPA has completed its removal of hazardous materials from the affected areas, which is ongoing, this process will take 3 to 4 months, we can begin the removal of other debris. To be clear, people will get in soon, but the long-term debris removal is going to take a great deal of time. We're in a partnership right now with FEMA and the Army Corps of Engineers in this effort. This is going to take the better part of a year to remove all of this debris and over $1 billion to complete. This will be supported by the federal government. We've engaged 25 cultural practitioners also to help us guide this effort and ensure that the Hawaii traditions we have and respect during this process are in place. We'll make every effort to use local workers also and local companies to complete this work. I'm incredibly proud of the entire West Maui community for their courage, their commitment, and everything they show.
Their courage? I think he meant to say courage.
as far as aloha goes and support for our survivors. And for their patience, I'm also grateful as this arduous process unfolds. We're grateful to all of the federal partners, including FEMA, who have worked so hard over the last 30 days to support our emergency response.
Yeah, what I also can't stand about this guy is his infatuation with the federal government. That's all he talked about was Joe Blow and how great he was. And I showed you images of him hugging him and just fawning over him. So this is also to instill in the traumatized people how great the federal government is and that we should rely on the federal government. All the while, they're being told you can't come back to your house for 3 to 4 months, but we're going to allow some cultural practitioner to be there, but you can't be there. You yourself, who owns this property, can't be there, but some government appointed cultural expert can be there. Come on. Am I the only one getting upset about this?
And deliver aid and assistance to survivors. We've received assurances of continued federal support and investment to help West Maui recover and rebuild. And we will support and care for the survivors of this disaster for as long as it takes. I especially want to thank President Biden.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is so despicable. I'm sorry to have to put you through this, but I'm going to sit through it. I'm going to just try to persevere through this. Look at his face. Biden, his hero. He loves that guy. I wouldn't be surprised if they put this Green New Deal up for some vice president or something like that. Okay, vomit warning coming.
For his unwavering support from the very beginning of this crisis. He has been a rock solid partner throughout, and our entire response and recovery effort is thanks to him.
Okay, that's just sickening. Look at his face. So one of the side effects of this intentionally inflicted disaster is to prop up Joe Blow to make him look like he's some savior. And this guy is the one bringing the news. Oh, look how great he is. Look how great he is. All to serve their evil agenda.
I'd also like to thank Speaker McCarthy and the entire bipartisan congressional delegation for the attention and concern that they have shown the people of Maui. Working with these federal partners and others, I'll continue to make sure that Maui receives every resource available and these resources get directly to the people who need it. As we recover, we will be faced by many extraordinary challenges, including finding ways to deliver support to survivors who have lost loved ones and homes, while protecting our people from predatory business practices.
Okay, I need to do a warning here as well. You have to define predatory. Just because a real estate agent reaches out to you and says, do you want to sell your property? That's predatory. You're telling me that the person who owns their property doesn't have the ability to determine whether or not they want to sell it and at what price and to whom. But instead, the government now is going to put restrictions on the sale of property. This is way out of bounds, friends. And I can't stand the gleeful look that's seeping through this evil public serpent's eyes.
I repeat, many donors from around the world have sent generous support to our devastated communities. However, others have descended on Maui seeking an opportunity to profit. Some of these outsiders seek to take as much as 1/3 or more of the compensation that the survivors of this tragedy are due.
Now, what I think he's going to do is make it be so difficult for people to sell their property so that he can come in with eminent domain and take that property at a price that he wants. He's not doing it for the good of the people. This is all by design. He declared this emergency about the housing when he took office. He ran on it as his platform. The county of Maui is also culpable. In 2020, actually back in 2017, when the Agenda 2030 was first rolled out to fast track the Agenda 21 goals of the United Nations of sustainability and human settlements, they created what's called the transportation corridor in Lahaina, exactly in the burn area, so that they can get rid of the shopping centers and the people's homes and put in buses and bicycles and all that kind of thing. It's been on the books for years. They're halfway through from 2017 until 2030. They're at the midway point. This guy was at the United Nations about 10 days before this inflicted disaster. And he even said that we are going to do better. We're going to infuse sustainability and resiliency and the sustainable development goals into all of our policies. And oh, he just happened to be at a family reunion when the inflicted disaster occurred. I don't believe a thing this guy says.
This kind of opportunism and profiteering on the suffering of our people is not Pono. So I'm taking action to
Pono means appropriate. So he thinks he's Hawaiian by using these Hawaiian words.
prevent it. I've instructed my team to explore the possibility of forming a recovery fund for those that have been impacted. This is intended to eliminate the need for those who have been affected by the fire to go through years of costly and painful litigation, with eventual recovery uncertain. In the spirit of aloha, local attorneys who seek to represent Maui survivors will be humbly asked to support and represent survivors on a pro bono basis or at a greatly reduced rate, so survivors can receive more of the settlements they deserve. And I'm calling on our local legal and business leaders to support this effort.
I would be skeptical of people going to Hawaii to do legal work when they're not Hawaiian. Okay, that if he wants to talk about predatory practices, I would dig into that a little more deeply, wouldn't you? Even Teddy doesn't like it.
The people of Maui must have as much time as they need to heal and recover, and will begin to rebuild only when they are ready, according to the timeline they choose. Lahaina belongs to its people, and we're committed to rebuilding and restoring it the way they want it. I want to emphasize this again. The land in Lahaina is reserved for its people as they return and rebuild.
Okay, he had to do that because I pointed out, well, I don't know if it's because I did it, but I pointed it out and many people followed, that he said we are going to build back better, meaning Lahaina wasn't good enough before, that they're going to improve on it. And then I've played this for you many times, and I have it linked in my videos, I think just from yesterday, that he said, I am looking for ways for the state to acquire this land to be used as workforce housing, right? For the grains of sand, as they referred to them. The one woman said, we're the workers of Lahaina, we're the grains of sand. And then he said, I want this to be an open space with a memorial that will be in perpetuity so that he can continue to inflict the trauma on people again and again and again. And he said very clearly that he wants the state to acquire this land. And because so many of us have exposed this evil, he now has to say again and again that he wants it the way the people of Lahaina want it. But be careful, because there's something called the Delphi technique, where they will put in plants, either paid for, people that actually go along with what he's saying, or these are people not even from the community who are going to try to sway the community to do what the government wants. It's a very compelling technique. It has been perfected by the CIA and others in terms of getting people on board in a type of like hypnotic and manipulative way. I will do a video for you if you're interested. That happens in so many of the city council meetings in California, where there's a person standing up saying, I know what the city wants, and then gives exactly what the government wants and not what the people want. So I'm not even going to believe him. Luckily in Lahaina, it's such a small town and it's so tightly knit, and the Hawaii people are really rising up now, as I showed you in the video previously, and I'll continue to bring you the voices of Lahaina, and they are not going to stand for this. So this guy is outgunned. He is in over his head, and he's just saying these words because he knows that we are on to him. We've got to bombard his office with emails and phone calls to find out what's with all these Band-Aids. Is he sick? Is he fit to serve? Why does he have all these Band-Aids? What is he hiding from the people? I want those answers. I want those questions answered.
And I instructed the Attorney General to impose enhanced criminal penalties, including up to a year in prison, on anyone who tries to take advantage of survivors by an unsolicited acquisition of property.
Okay, so he's trying to make his own law outside of the legislative body, that anybody that makes an unsolicited offer, now that's a crime. It's a crime to give your business card as a real estate agent to somebody that lives there. That's very bizarre to me, but it's also bizarre. Well, let me leave that aside right now.
In affected areas on Maui. I've also ordered a full investigation of the cause of the fire and the emergency response. We'll get answers to exactly what happened there.
Oh, just like we got answers to what happened in, let's see, September. What's the day after the 10th? I can't say it. I'll get triggered on the algorithm here. Oh, you mean just like those answers that came out? Oh, yeah. A lot of that doesn't add up either, does it?
And there will be full accountability and transparency to the public. Now, regarding travel to Hawaii, outside of West Maui, all other areas of Maui and the rest of Hawaii are safe and now open to visitors.
Even though he said earlier, don't come to Hawaii, don't come to Maui.
Outside of West Maui. And we invite everyone to travel to our state today, which will support the local economy and help speed the recovery of those who have already suffered so much. Many have asked when it will be the right time to reopen West Maui to visitors. There's no easy answer to this question, but I can say this, that if we support Maui's economy and keep our people employed, they'll heal faster and continue to be able to afford to live on Maui. Beginning October 8th, 1 month from today, all travel restrictions will end and West Maui will be open to visitors again. So people from Hawaii and around the world can resume travel to this special place and help it begin to recover economically.
Okay, friends, I did a video about should I go to Maui, and I really appreciate all of your comments. I really value what you say. I read all of the comments within 24 hours of my videos. After that, I have to move on to the next video. And I appreciate so much your input. Many of you said, oh my gosh, you should go, Peggy. Nobody's doing the kind of reporting you are. And then others said, you're doing better just at your computer and not getting in the way. And then others said, God is going to direct your steps. And I really do believe that. He is the one that has been, from day one, directing and protecting. And really, that's what I rely on in terms of what brings me peace when I'm making my decisions. So as of now, I'm not in Hawaii. It is possible that in the coming months, if there is that opportunity, I definitely would not go alone, and I probably would not broadcast it because of those that are desiring to silence my truth. You know that I have to use all of my code words on this channel. That's how I've been able to remain on this channel through the many years, even though I've had strikes and threats of taking the channel down. I do have all my backup channels on Rumble and BitChute and so forth. But I wanted to mention this right now, that I still am praying about a visit. And that would be something that I probably would do very, surreptitiously, meaning I would do it privately and gather the footage and so forth, and probably air that once I'm safely back home. Anyhow, I wanted to thank all of you for your very, very thoughtful comments. Let's finish up here.
This difficult decision is meant to bring hope for recovery to the families and businesses on Maui that have been so deeply affected in every way by the disaster. We also, as a part of the most recently issued emergency proclamation, have lifted the suspension on the water code. I wanted to share that with the environmental community. To help support the people of Maui.
Okay, I need to dig into that, lifting the water code. That's a new one for me, so I will dig into that and bring you info coming up.
I remind everyone to please give to the American Red Cross.
Oh, what is this American Red Cross? I've done several videos on them. Let me know if that's somebody that you support. Their top executives are making in the millions of dollars when you add it all together. The state of Hawaii gave the Red Cross $100 million. Well, he said $99 million because he loves his sixes, which are upside down nines. So what, do they need more money? What are they doing? I actually would love if somebody would contact the Red Cross in Hawaii and get a rundown exactly what they're doing. How much money have they spent putting people in the housing? How many meals have they given? I want to know a number and a cost. I really don't understand why they need more money. By the way, they sell your blood if you donate it. You donate blood, they give you $20, they go and sell it for $150. Just saying.
The Hawaii Community Foundation's Maui Strong Fund, both of which will make sure that the resources get to those in need. Thank you again for supporting the survivors of.
How exactly are those resources getting to those in need? That's part of what I want to do if I go to Maui. I want to interview somebody. How much money I don't want to get too personal with them, but how were they able to do it? What were the organizations? How much money are people getting? For how long? From whom? For what? What do they have to do to prove that they need that money? I want answers to these questions.
This tragedy as they mourn, grieve, and begin to recover. I will continue to keep you updated on our aid and relief efforts as we move
Holy smokes, he's got a Band-Aid on his other finger too? Okay, this is just getting weirder. The yellow Band-Aids for his Build Beyond Barriers, let's
Maui
see.
Strong Fund, both of which will make sure that the resources get to those in need. Thank you again for supporting the survivors of this tragedy as they mourn, grieve, and begin to recover. I will continue to keep you updated on our aid.
Look at that, a Band-Aid on his left ring finger, on his right index finger. Is the guy just a klutz? Does he have leprosy? Is he biting his fingernails? Does he have nail fungus? Is he contagious? Like, what's going on? Would you please send emails to the governor's office? Would you please comment on every single video that you are watching and have people find out why in the non-spinning world he's got these Band-Aids that change all the time? Sometimes they're on a thumb, sometimes they're on the little finger. This is bizarre. All right, I need to continue to expose this. That's actually, I got to take a screen grab of this. It's so bizarre.
And relief efforts as we move forward, both in daily updates and in more comprehensive monthly assessments for our efforts. It's going to be a long process for us to rebuild and heal. And we're grateful for the love and support coming to Maui from around the country and around the world. Please keep Maui in your hearts, your prayers, as we start our long road to recovery. Mahalo.
Okay, the road to recovery. I can't believe he got through this 10 minutes without once saying resiliency or sustainability. This news concert was about another hour's worth of content, which I will watch on my own. And I want you to have the eagle eye and the eagle ear to look for these gestures, to look for the symbols, and to listen to the language. Friends, because I brought you this video, I'm so grateful that you were on board with me. You can hear my Teddy needs to go out. I am going to keep that longer video for you tomorrow, the one where I said I was interviewed by a British woman, and you'll hear about my background, how I got started with the Healthy American. We touch a little bit about the fires and some of the other, despicable hogwash that was sloshed all over us. I'll have that for you tomorrow, which is Saturday, and I will continue to dig into this Maui coverage. I don't see anybody else doing this, and it's important that we, to the level that I am and with this type of analysis. I'm grateful that I'm breaking a lot of the news that others are then reporting on, but I want you to really caution you to avoid falling for the fear-mongering headlines that absolutely is despicable. It's shameful for people putting up images of children and then saying, where are these children? When those aren't even children that are missing. So you've got to be discerning in what you are watching. The fear-mongering is designed to instill an emotional response, and it is manipulative, and I do not care for it. I understand that I get a little fly off the handle. I have my rants, but in no way do I ever intend to go down those paths that are leading nowhere but to fear mongering. I want you to get out of the spin cycle with the solutions. And I have videos about that, how to stop the evildoers. I've got how to stop the public serpents. And I will have another video coming up for you soon about how to stand your ground so that you are not going to be manipulated by those that are trying to steer you in the wrong direction. Thank you to everybody for being on board. I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming video. Be sure that you are on my Substack and also my free newsletter. And I look forward to seeing